Hello and welcome to the show. I am here today on Rfactor 2 taking a look at a truly spectacular circuit. This is the Loch Drummond, a fictional Scottish raceway that I very much wish existed. In fact, it often feels like a real racetrack. It is a phenomenal place to drive a car around. Now, normal fashion, when I want to go and play a game and show off a track, I will of course be racing against the AI. It makes things much more interesting. The problem is the AI cannot deal with this track. They just cannot deal with this circuit, full stop. I have tried, many hours have been spent trying to get them to behave. I've been trying all sorts of different types of cars, and none of it was working at all. So I have had to give up, and well, the circuit itself I think is so spectacular and is deserving of a video on its own, and I wanted to drive some more around here. So that is what we are going to be doing in a couple of different vehicles. This is the corner here. This curb there launches AI cars into a frenzy. Doesn't matter what sort of cars I drive around here, unless they are, you know, like the vans, they just all fall off the road there. Doesn't matter if it's like this, the IMSA Toyota Celica that I have here, the mod car, whether it be a Formula 1 car, whether it be GT cars, whatever it is, they fall off the road there. And it's just, yeah, I got angry with them and gave up. The circuit, though, is, yeah, as I said, spectacular, as is this IMSA car. There are bits of this track that may well feel familiar to you in some ways. Certainly the turn one here is a little bit like the Oschersleben turn one. It's less horrible. In many ways, it's kind of a smoothed out version of the Oschersleben turn one, but it is very, very good fun indeed. You really want to get slowed down and then just kind of patiently wait. Try and get on the power too soon, especially with some cold tyres as we come up over this crest. You will get very sideways indeed, especially in a car that is as fast as this. This might be my favourite corner on the track. You kind of... It's one of those turns that it takes a long time to build up the courage to get right. You've got to... Ooh, we're across the grass a little bit there. Yeah, you can take a lot of speed through it, but you've really got to build up the courage to get that one right. There's a horrible bump on the inside here because you can't get on the power too soon. It's kind of relatively fast to begin with, and then it all tightens up towards the end of the lap. It has just about every sort of corner that you could possibly imagine on a racetrack, apart from like an absurd hairpin, sort of a Monaco-esque hairpin. There really is just about every sort of corner. We've got these sort of medium speed ones, then it ramps up towards a flat out through the final turn if you're brave, but don't get on the grass because I've got a really, really powerful car that is more than happy to slide about. Yeah, it's a brilliant, brilliant circuit, and I braked a little bit too late, I think, into turn one. No, we've got away with it. The IMSA car as well is an excellent vehicle for driving this circuit. In things like a Clio Cup car, for example, this place is good fun to go racing around, but you don't really have the grip or the speed to really appreciate some of these changes of direction. Oh, it is, you can get a little bit snappy inside here, as we're now going to run up. Tom, I could have been a little bit braver over there. You always wanting to be a bit braver. This is a horrible blind turn in and hope that you've got the speed right. Try and fire it out of the turn as nicely as possible. There we go. Yeah, it's just an incredible, incredible venue. They've got sort of the elevation changes right around here. It's often easy to either go to the too extreme. I mean, sure, you know, Laguna Seca has the corkscrew that is a very, very extreme elevation change, but it's only, you know, one corner, and most tracks don't have that. I guess, you know, again, Spa has got kind of one crazy elevation change, but it's easy to get carried away and try and do too many. This is undulating in places. It's interesting in a lot of places without being on the too crazy side. I've got to get a bit more careful. When you're on the brakes in this car, it is very, very easy to have the back end start stepping out. The IMSA car that I'm driving here actually drives a lot differently to the sort of cars that I would normally be driving. There is a lot more... Oh, careful now. That got very twitchy on me. There is a lot more movement from the back of the car than I would normally like from my vehicles, and you've got to have some bravery just to kind of turn in and hope that that back end isn't suddenly going to let go. It doesn't tend to, unless you are a massive moron with the throttle, or if there are some suddenly horrible bumps that you didn't notice, or you've done a little bit too much speed on the way into a hairpin. That is when things get a little bit snappy. I can't get my car through that the uphill chicane to do what the AIs do. I've tried. They basically launch their cars. They don't quite roll it, but they launch their cars onto the side and throw it onto the gravel, and if there's more than one car around them, they have a crash. I can't get my IMSA car to do that on its own. Like, I've tried. We'll have another go. We'll have another go. This time around, we will try and launch it. I've managed to roll a Clio here. I managed to roll a Clio on that first corner because there are some sort of behind the main curbs. There's the horrible sausage curbs that you hit, and that fires cars around. Try and be brave through here. That's a bit too much speed, I think. On the way in. Whoopsie daisy. We're going to catch it again. Oh, God. Yeah, up here, the AIs kind of hook their car behind there. That's sort of what they do, but they do it a lot more spectacularly onto their side, and they don't quite go off in the same way. Like, I have to be really aggressive to get it to fire onto two wheels. It's weird when the AI are better at getting their cars up on their side than I am, but that's just the issue that I've been finding around here. Slow down for the hairpin, try and be patient. It goes on forever, absolutely forever. This hairpin, and if you're not patient, you do that. Rfactor 2, as far as handling goes, Rfactor 2 is a very, very good game. I've been really enjoying playing around on this one. I mean, if you're used to, driving sim racing games, it's not too bad to get used to. There are just little things on here that are different to how perhaps I'm used to driving. You can get away with catching cars a lot more than I have experienced, and this is the IMSA cars were very, very fast vehicles, and this is incredibly quick in terms of lap speed. There is a lot of power, there is a lot of grip. I am surprised with the amount I can get away with. If it starts sliding, I can catch it a bit more than I'm expecting. Once it's kind of going sideways, I half expect the car to just be a complete goner. That's faster. That's faster up there indeed. Oh, this is a horrible bit, horrible bit, horrible bit. Try and get on that power, but don't slide the car, or just clonk that. Putting wheels on curbs and trying to put power down with a wheel on the AstroTurf, that's going to end in absolute disaster as well as we come into the hairpin and wait for it. Don't get the car sliding. Let's see what sort of lap time. I think I can run it. Oh, that's all gone wrong now lap time wise. I can run it into the, I think 1:10s probably around here, which is not too. There's not too bad a lap time whatsoever for this. In fact, we'll go through the menus. What have we done so far? We're what was that? 1:11.2. There we go. That's not bad. Not a bad lap at all. Probably would have been at the 1:10 had we not got on the curbs. Trying to be brave again through that first corner. No, third gear is where we want it to be. Through here, then get on that power. It's a lovely flowing track. One of those that you just want to drive laps and drive laps and drive more laps around here. Could we get under the 1:10s? I doubt I could. Maybe with a really, really good run. Maybe with maximum bravery. Oh, and a little bit of wheels on the dirt. I'm going to have a really big accident any minute now. Any minute now there is going to be a tremendous shunt, and it might be there. No, it's not there. We're just keeping it all. And this is me going quite quickly around here, I would like to think, and I know that there are people who will be far faster than me around this track with this sort of car and so on. I know I'm nowhere near what this car can do. The only kind of adjustments to the setup I've done, and if you do play around with this mod, I very much recommend you do the same, is max out the rear downforce. Otherwise it is the most oversteery thing in existence. Maximum downforce, very good. Very, very helpful for making it stabler. What was that, 110.4? Yeah, I'm relatively pleased with that as a lap time. Again, I think I can go a little bit faster. Don't second gear through there. We're going to have a really big slide. Yeah, it will get out of shape if you're an absolute moron with it. But on the whole, a great, great car to drive, great sounding car, great looking car, and a fantastic circuit to boot. Now, one more time, just one more time, up the top. Can we go reverse a little bit? We were quicker on the way in, but not quicker on the way out. We're going to end up in a world of trouble over there. And again, sliding. Oh, I think we can just about breathe now after that session. That was this circuit in an IMSA car. A very, very quick car as well, quicker than my normal sort of vehicle, and now we are going to go on to something that I don't tend to drive. Yes, I am going to have a go in a Formula 1 car. Now, I do much prefer to tend to drive slower cars. Touring cars are kind of my sort of preferred thing. It's just what I've spent time racing. Clio Cup cars are ideal sort of vehicles for me. I have more fun racing those cars, so I spend more time, practicing with a Clio Cup car. And what that means is me then trying to get to grips with a Formula 1 car is a little bit more difficult because I'm not used to having this level of downforce to work with, this level of grip to work with in a car. And trying to build up to something like this is a little bit trickier, especially on a game like this. However, this particular track is one of the very, very few that make me really want to drive like an open-wheeled, single-seater car incredibly fast, because it is just such a brilliant circuit to throw a high downforce car around, although I've thrown it at a curb and we've lost. We've lost convincingly, really, against that curb. Now, I'm going to take it a little bit easy for this first lap or two until we have warmed up the tyres, because tyre temperature is a very, very big thing with Rfactor, and it's something that you will notice most, of course, with a car like this one, but the way that tyre physics is dealt with is all very impressive in here. For example, in a practice session I was doing earlier, you can flat spot tyres, and I mean properly flat spot tyres in what I would say a fairly realistic manner. I managed to spin the car coming out of a corner, and you could physically see the flat spot, but it was more than just that. I could feel it through the force feedback in my steering wheel. It was vibrating like crazy. It was to the point where I couldn't drive the car. And that's what happens with Formula 1 cars when things go a little bit awry. Whoa! That was a little bit of a snap. Now, of course, I'm driving all of these cars with no assists whatsoever on them, so things like that are going to happen in the Formula 1 car. The brakes are, of course, a big challenge to make sure that we get right. These Formula 1 cars, by the way, for those of you interested, they are based on the 2012 cars, I believe. At least that's the name that the car sort of category is given in the option menus, so not quite the ridiculously fast cars that we have currently going on. There may well be a mod for them around somewhere. Okay, lap time wise. Now, I was initially wondering if I could do a challenge to try and get these cars to lap this circuit under a minute. It may well be doable. I have no doubt a good driver with a brilliant setup could do this in under a minute, but for me, probably 1 minute 2 if I get everything absolutely spot on. Might be doable. It's just trying to get the confidence and the get the most out of all of the downforce that is available here. Like, I want to be flat out up here, but I don't think the car can do it, and we can't get away with bumping the curbs. It's fine. Little bit of off-roading. Now, we can get away with going across the grass like that without tearing off the front wing. I think. I don't know if they can go wrong. Wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. I was racing with a slightly different mod. There was a late 90s Formula 1 car mod, and I got wide at the top of that crest, hit the gravel trap, and just flipped the car over. I wish I had my recording software on at the time, because it was very, very spectacular, but not particularly good for a lap time. We'll get away with a little bit more in this vehicle. That was not a good lap. Right, how late dare we break down into the first corner? A little bit of a lock-up. Now, I don't know how long it will take for little lock-ups like that to start affecting the tyres. If we go through... Whoa, don't try and do that. I thought I could get away with that. I couldn't. In fact, you can see what the little lock-ups have done to my front tyres. You can have I'll be honest, okay, it's not the greatest of UI. Ooh. We've got a little bit of vibration going on. I think with that spin, you're not going to be able to tell this in the video, but now things are starting to be... Like, it's not got to the point where it's vibrating the camera, so it doesn't look too bad, or it's certainly not vibrating in a noticeable amount. My steering wheel is now starting to shake a bit as we're going around from that spin out of the first corner. Yeah, it's nothing too terrible. It's perfectly drivable at the moment. Before I got distracted by all of that, it's not the prettiest of UIs, and in general it's not the prettiest of games. As far as graphics go, yeah, a lot of stuff is borrowed from the original Rfactor, certainly almost all of the UI is, probably with a few tweaks here and there. Should we go in for a pit stop and get some non-vibratory tyres? just about got into the down to the pit limit. And in here is a thing to stop by. Oh, I'm not pulled far enough forward. There we go. They will go and change my tyres. We'll get some nice new ones. I'll have to teeter around on freezing bloody cold tyres once more. Oh, we're off. Not quite as fast as the current Formula 1 pit stops. But, yeah, there we go. We've got new tyres on. We're not going to have a vibration. Whoa, although we might do it. Don't be an idiot with the Formula 1 car. Yeah, now everything is much happier. So just from that little spin. Now, of course, if that had been in a race, you would probably have carried on with that. But what we'll do is if we... We'll do a couple more laps. I'll see if I can go any quicker. I'll see if I can get to the 1-2s around here, and then I'll have a big brake lock up somewhere, and we'll see that the true extent. Let's just go to show you the level of detail. And there's lots of detail that. Oopsie daisy! I've not got the grip to do that. Got to remember. There's lots of little detail. I mean, sort of mechanical failures are a thing. You can mess around with the cooling for the engine, for example, and if you sort of take away too much cooling in the hope to reduce that little bit of drag, your engine will overheat, catch fire, and yeah, mechanical failures are a thing. I don't know if full-on random mechanical failures happen or not, or whether it's just sort of crash damage related ones, you pushing the car too hard, etc. I don't know if you can have just an engine completely give up if you do something stupid with the gears. Perhaps you have the gearbox give up or something like that. Right. Let's actually try and get a couple of fast laps sorted around here. Got to be really mindful of the horrible curbs in a Formula car because they don't really like them. And then easy does it on the throttle. You can get to full throttle up there, but not quite got the confidence at this moment in time. Slow it down, change direction through there. Again, it's very, very rare that I'm enjoying driving a single-seater car as much as I am around this circuit. Don't really know where to brake up here, somewhere like that. I think I'm spending too much time sort of, I say coasting. I am, yeah, not quite getting it sorted out for some of these corners. This one here is such a... I don't have the patience for this hairpin. I want it to be, I want it to be over with quicker. But yeah, aside from that and my obvious, driving flaws around here, I really enjoy Formula 1. I think they should build a track like this and take Formula 1 there. It would be spectacular. If the drivers could manage to do a little uphill chicane without falling over, it would be spectacular. I mean, if they fell over when going up an uphill chicane, that would also be spectacular, but for a very, very different reason. Now, let's not tit around when we go to put the power down. There we go. We got to full throttle a little bit early. There's that little crest there will throw off high-powered rear-wheel drive cars as you leave sort of turn 2. I guess it's a very, very long turn 2. 1 minute 3.6. Oh, come on. We can be braver than that, I hope. I hope we can get a little bit more speed around this circuit. Wait for it. No, not quite. Not quite. Oh! Bugger. Damn it. That was me being too brave. Well, I wanted to show the tyres. Now you will see. I mean, you could visibly see on those tyres the way those tyres are marked. Now, I don't know if that's going to be... That's not the worst I've done. It's not quite shaking the camera, but my steering wheel is having absolutely none of it. We'll run down to turn 1 and I'll just lock everything and we'll see. Did I actually bump the... I got away with only minor damage. Oh, it doesn't like turning around there. You can kind of maybe even see it. Yeah, you can kind of see a little bit with the in-game steering wheel that's going on, how much that is unhappy to the car. It's really not happy. Now, theoretically, when we go, you can see it bouncing and bumping around. When we go on the brakes down here, we should lock up at the same point. Not quite. Didn't quite do it there. I've now got 2 flat spots on the tyre. Which is really, really... So, I just love, again, the level of detail. The level of detail is incredible. And now this will probably be nigh on undrivable. Around these corners, it's just you're going to be fighting and fighting and fighting the car the whole way. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear the noise coming from my steering wheel as it's vibrating. It's basically constantly buzzing. That's, yeah... impressive time. Now, there is full-on damage. I got away very, very, very luckily with the damage on the back of my car there because the spin was only just sort of lightly brushed the wall. You can lose wheels. You can lose entire sort of wings. Occasionally, I have, from experience, I have had the Like, I've got away with bumping into the back of an opponent's car, and they've lost, like, the entire back end, and mine's been fine. And sometimes it can go the other way as well for you if you're a little bit unlucky. So, yeah, I mean, it's a decent enough damage thing that Rfactor has got going on. I'm quite impressed with this guy. I wasn't really sure. I got Rfactor 2 as it was part of a bundle somewhere that I got very, very cheaply. I can't remember if it was like a humble bundle or whether it might have been on sale. It was yeah, I didn't pay full price for it. It was just a sort of, I was curious because I've always liked Rfactor 1. I spent a lot of time playing around on Rfactor 1. Probably the first proper sim game that I got into. And yeah, when I saw this cheap, I thought I would have a go with it. And I do like as the physics go, I love the detail that it has on here, and yeah, it's making me want to drive different sort of cars to my normal sort, and especially at this sort of a circuit. It is a shame that even though this isn't a mod circuit, this is an official circuit. Yeah, okay, it's a fictional one, but it's still an official circuit. It's a shame that the AI just aren't quite up to it around this track. Now, they are better at other places, sure. The AI do tend to suffer from the issue of when you put multiple cars together, they don't race each other very well. They might race you nicely, but they tend to get confused when trying to run closely with other AI cars. So they end up kind of just going incredibly slowly for the first few laps until everyone's all spread out. But aside from that, yeah, the AI aren't too bad. It's just they all want to roll as they get to the top of that hill. And it's a shame that that makes this track much less fun to play with on your own. Of course, for multiplayer races and so on, fantastic. Don't do that again. We don't want a carbon copy of our previous accident. Yeah, it's kind of a shame that this circuit, as far as single player goes, is just for hot lapping. But of all of the circuits in all of the games that I've ever played, this is one of the best. I'm not going to say the best. It doesn't beat New York in terms of my favourite fictional track, the New York from Forza 4, but it's bloody close. It is bloody close indeed. One more lap. This is going to be the one. This is the one that's going to be, hopefully, nice and quick. And I say that, and we're probably going to end up binning it in the wall. We are full bravery out of turn 2 there. There was no hesitation. Across the crest of the hill, down into 4th, I think, through this corner. I think 3rd, we just end up spinning the wheels constantly. Now, how much speed dare we take up at the top of the hill? I don't know, because there's no speedo in the car. I also like that the vehicle has got the little track map in the centre of the steering wheel. It's quite a neat little... Oh, I got a tiny bit of... Bloody hell. I don't know if that's going to come across in the video, but I had a tiniest stutter from the game as I went to get on the power. I know that sounds like a terrible racing driver excuse. I really hope that does come across in the video. It's going to look really bad. It was the tiniest stutter as I went to get on the power, and the car broke sideways all at the wrong time on me. That's irritating. That's really irritating because that was going pretty damn well. I don't know if I can tell what I was doing in terms of, I might have gone through another checkpoint, so I don't know. Bugger, that was looking so good as well. Yeah, amazing circuit, this one. Truly, truly incredible circuit. Fantastically detailed game as well. Not the prettiest, but incredible levels of detail in terms of racing. The AI can be half decent, sadly though, not at the circuit that I want to race them on. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.